They're also looking at exit poll data and other means of making their projections. But Scott Walker, according to NBC News, is holding on tonight in Wisconsin after this epic recall fight. We're going to be joined in just a moment by my friend Ed Schultz, who has been covering this race, in Wisconsin more intensely than anybody else in the country. We're going to Ed. Yeah, Ed was not sure we'd be able to get you on. Ed, we have just been able to characterize this race as a win for Scott Walker, Governor Walker surviving this recall challenge in Wisconsin. I got to ask your reaction as somebody who's covered this more closely than anybody else in the national media.
Well, in many respects, it's to be expected, considering how much money was thrown at this race. You know, NBC is calling it for Walker. Okay, I think it's awful close, and there's a lot of absentee ballots yet that are still out, and it's going to be very, very close down to the wire. So it's disappointing, I know, if this is going to be the result to a lot of workers in this state. But certainly it is not the end, and it's going to be an opportunity for the progressive movement to regroup nationally and understand exactly what they are up against. No question about it. It was a gallant effort by Democrats and liberals and progressives in this state and workers to get out and go door to door. The canvassing was very intense. They felt very good. They felt like Tom Barrett had a real good final week. But Scott Walker, according to NBC News, has prevailed. With 22% of the vote in. That's the call right now. I know that Milwaukee is going to have a big turnout, and so is Madison. A fabulous turnout in both those areas, but there you see it. I don't think it's, you know, it's damaging to the labor union, labor movement, no question about that. But it also sets a real clear message to what Democrats are going to be up against coming up in November, and I think it sends a message to what kind of ground game is going to be needed to fight off this special interest money that's going to be coming into a lot of races around the country where they're going to be outgunned financially. So it's going to be a tough one. There's no question about it. Going to be a lot of disappointed people. There were a lot of high hopes that this was going to turn around for the people of Wisconsin, the workers. But the question now is just how aggressive is Walker going to get? He's going to get a lot of national attention because of this. It would seem to me that the Republican Party is going to have to find a spot for him at the national convention and prop him up. I think the Romney campaign is going to be pointing to him as the agenda that they're going to want to follow. This, of course, is going to give a lot of talking points and momentum to the Ryan budget, and that's just going to make the hill a little bit higher for the Democrats to climb. But I don't think this proverbial fight is over yet by any stretch of the imagination.
Ed, obviously, we're still waiting on results in the lieutenant governor's race. We're still waiting on the results in the 4 Republican state Senate recalls. There is still the possibility at this point. We're just showing the board right now for the lieutenant governor's race. NBC is still characterizing that one as too close to call. There is the possibility that the Democrats, if they win one of those state Senate seats, will actually win control of the state Senate tonight, in which case we'd be looking at divided government in Wisconsin. Scott Walker holding on to the governorship, the Republicans holding on to the state assembly, but the Democrats moving from the tied situation they've got right now in the Senate to taking over that body. Do you think that's going to make any material difference in terms of policy in the state?
Well, I know one thing. If the Democrats do take over the Senate by winning one of those 4 Senate recall races tonight, it's going to definitely slow down the agenda. It's going to make Scott Walker talk a little bit, because the Democrats are bound and determined to make sure that there's not going to be any more radical legislation coming through. They're going to be able to probably fence off the right-to-work legislation that the Democrats think that Walker's going to show up with in the effort there. It is also going to slow down any kind of radical voting suppression laws that the Democrats have said that they are committed to stopping. So this is definitely going to slow down government in Wisconsin. There's no question about that. But this is also an opportunity for the Republicans to gain a great deal of confidence that when they outfund the opponent, it can make a difference. We are looking at almost a $27 million advantage that Walker had over Tom Barrett. And this sets the template for the Republicans and certainly tells the right wing in this country that if they can outfund their opponent, they've got a real good shot at winning. Scott Walker could very well be indicted in the coming days. I mean, he is definitely a challenged candidate. And this state does not have a surplus, and they were able to get that message across to a lot of people, to the point where you had national media figures who were saying that the state has a surplus. So a lot of fudging going on, so to speak, and it's really surprising. But when you've got the money and you could buy the message, you can convince a lot of people that you're on the right side of the issue. So it's going to be really a fight for the Democrats here in November, no question about it.
My friend Ed Schultz, live in Wisconsin. Ed, I know you've got a live hour ahead and a lot to prep for that, my friend. Thanks for joining us with those initial thoughts.
There's no embarrassment in the loss. There's no question about that. This is a great night for democracy because the turnout was terrific, and I think Americans have to celebrate that. Thanks, Rachel.
Thanks, Ed Schultz. I appreciate it, man. Joining us now.